Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show. Canterbury-Bankstown Bulldogs. Right there, baby. Are they going to win the premiership in 2023? I think that's a bridge too far. But we're going to look at their best 17 for 2023. And if you can see on here, you might be able to see, I've got a signature there of Josh Addo-Carr. He was a good laugh to chat to. Obviously, Matt Burton, nice and relaxed. They were nice to me when we went to the Bulldogs game. Good stuff there. Anyway, what's going to be the Bulldogs? Let's have a look at their losses for 2023. First off, obviously, players like Corey Allen. Lost it. He is lost. Can he find his best form back at the Roosters? Remember, at one point he was a Queensland type player. So interesting to see what happens there. Matt Duffy. I don't think he's no big loss. He's just an average player. Josh Jackson, they're going to lose a bit of leadership there. But to be fair, he was the leader of a losing team, so how great was his leadership? Then you got Jack Hetherington. They won't miss his suspensions. Jeremy Marshall-King could have been a good 14. But with Reid Mahoney pretty much going to play any minutes, they don't really need him. Then you got Brent Naden, Aaron Shoup. Surprised they let him go. Joe Stimpson and Paul Vaughan. Yes, well, we know what happened to Paul Vaughan. Don't really need him. But the gains, Andrew Davey. I think he'll be a surprise bracket for rookie. I mean, not rookie of the year. The buy of the year. I think he could be a very decent buy here for the Canterbury Bulldogs. For the Army Kickout and Reid Mahoney, then don't need to say much more about them. Hayes Perman, he's going to be an interesting one for me. He might not necessarily make the team straight away, but he's an interesting talent. He could be, he's had a few injuries. If he gets his chance to deliver, you never know. And Ryan Sutton, a solid player, so you may need him. Obviously, Cameron Ciraldo, bringing his Penrith form to thing, and I think the last piece of this puzzle before this team really gets rocketing for mine is Stephen Crichton. I'm telling you now, Stephen Crichton will be in the Bulldogs in 2024. That is my mail. He will be the fullback. And if they get it right, they'll have Mitchell Moses at 7. But I am not convinced Mitchell Moses will go to the Bulldogs. I think he's more likely to go to the Tigers. But it's going to be an interesting one. If he might stay at Parramatta too. So three-way tussle between those for Mitchell Moses is going to be interesting to see where he ends up. Yes, let's get to the squad. Who will be the 17? Well, for me, an interesting one is the fullback. Obviously, there's no actually recognised fullback. So, for me, Jacob Kiraz will go there for mine. I think he can move to fullback and get his opportunity to show his worth as he did in the World Cup. Josh Addo-Carr picks himself, and I am telling you now, 2023, he'll be back in the Blues. He should have never been out of the Blues, but that's another point. The other wing, I've gone for Jaden Ockenborough, but he could have picked a few others, to be honest, but I just couldn't have him. I just had to have him. And then Jake Averillo, I think he'll play centre, and Paul Alamoti. Might be interesting, the young gun continuing to play his form. Be interesting to see if he steps up to this next level. So they're lacking a bit of depth in the centres too, so if you sign Crichton to centre, I don't know if you can afford a fullback as well, so it's going to be interesting times. But they're lacking in that area as well. Obviously, number 6, Matt Burton, no problems there. Kyle Flanagan, he'll be number 7 for now, but I'm expecting he will be let go. Luke Thompson, well, I don't know what's going to happen with him, if he's going to go back to the UK after the season, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Reid Mahoney, Andrew Davey, I think he'll be a prop. Army Kicker, obviously will be in the second row with Raymond Mariner. I think that's pretty obvious there. And Max King for me is very solid player. Whether he has the capacity to play there long term, we will see. You need to bring an offload game there. Who's going to be a bench player to come on? Maybe Bailey Biondo Undo might be the player to come on. You got Tavita Pangai Jr. People will say he should start, but again, I think a bit like David Fafita, bring him on for impact. Ryan Sutton will do a job off the bench, and Jackson Topani He's my other one. I think you got to watch out for him, the Kiwi player. I think it's going to be interesting. But what the Bulldogs have, which was I've said with a lot of the other teams beforehand, is the lack of depth. With this extra team too, with this extra, and the Dolphins coming in, it's just spread out more. But to be honest, there's probably 30, 40 players that could be playing in the NRL now that are in the Super League. So that is the thing. You could virtually bring another whole team back, and the competition would be stronger. But unfortunately, some of these mid-range players can get bigger money over in the Super League. So that is the hard thing there. So what do I think of the Bulldogs here in 2023? Well, one thing I know for sure, they won't win the comp. No, they don't. They don't have a Cooper Cronk type player in their squad to give them what they need for that. That is obviously the two positions they really. There's probably three positions to be honest: a centre, fullback, and halfback. If they get those three this season, if they sign these three this season, then I'll talk about them as a premiership hope. But before then, that is what they're missing. But whether or not they can afford to get all this from Matt Burton's price going up, that's going to be the question. Do they stick with Kyle Flanagan and he could develop? That is a possibility, and really go for the Crichton and look for a strike centre. That's the other chance they go for, because if they get Moses, then it's going to be tough billing for anyone else to come. So yeah, for me, the Bulldogs, they will certainly improve, but top 8, I'm going to say no. They obviously potentially could sneak into the 8. Matt Burton, we know how good he is, but I don't know if he's got enough friends around him to get him home. But obviously they will definitely be a better squad with Reed Mahoney and Filiami Kikau in there. But yeah, I just got concerns they don't have the class when needed to get them home in the big games. And to me, that puts the Bulldogs 9th or 10th for me. Even though I probably see they've got a few teams. But yeah, I think that's about their range. If they make the top 8, they've overachieved for mine. But obviously this team's going to grow within a year or two, especially if they get a couple of astute signings. And I expect Crichton to be one of them. If he signs there, then hello, look out. The Bulldogs are coming. So there is good days ahead for you Bulldogs fans out there. Just not a top 8 finish, I don't think, for mine. But you never know. If Jacob Kiraz absolutely starts at fullback, you never know. You really never know in this game of footy. So for me, Canterbury are going to miss the 8. But what do you think? The much improved season I expect. I think they'll start a lot better. But they still need to learn how to win in the big games. And that's what they're probably going to have to learn over a couple of years. But I expect in 2024, if they get Crichton and a couple other players, then you're really looking at a top 8 team. And then give them another year or so, and then maybe they can be looking for top 4 premierships. And Phil Gould doesn't muck around, so I expect that after this season, when they get a few more players, they really will be pushing for a top 8 spot. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the Bulldogs season coming up and what their best team will be. We'll see you again at the next video.